This is Good Morning KU. So how was your weekend, Emily?
My weekend was pretty good. It was my birthday weekend, and the Jayhawks had a pretty good win for it. Devontae Graham and Malik Newman even came back.
Yeah, I saw that, but I was at the tennis match working, so I didn't get a chance to
Oh,
go
how was
to-
that?
Boring, I'd say.
Yeah, but KU Athletics did have a good weekend, yeah.
Yeah, they did win.
I would say so. Oh, no, we won by quite a bit, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, Chris Tehan went in, and he made a sick three. The crowd was going absolutely insane.
I didn't watch the game, I'll be honest. I went to Walmart because I took advantage of Iowa Street not being crowded.
Honestly, I respect that a lot, though.
Yeah, I got some good deals on food. That was
On
good.
food. Is that all you got?
No, but I tell you what we do have is some footage of Bill Self talking about the game. If we could roll that.
If you look at the standings, you can look at, and Baylor, is going through the same things we are. I mean, here's Baylor has a chance to fight for a conference championship, and they got 3 starters out. So it's us, Baylor, and West Virginia have felt it more than anybody else. But the whole thing is you can kind of tell who plays against who within that 5, okay, and then after that. After that, the games that may not be against those 5 right there, how hard of games they are. But I think sometimes people just assume that, well, you're playing this team on this day, so they're not in contention, so you should win. And that's how teams don't win leagues, is because everybody in this league can beat anybody any night. So it'll be very interesting. Moving forward, I'm glad that we're at least in the game. We if we had played better earlier, or played with this type of energy and probably freedom, I think that we would probably be in a much favorable position, but we didn't.
I have no idea what he talked about, but I'm assuming he talked about cows, and I'd have to agree with him that the most important part of a cow's life is the calf stage.
I could not agree more. It's always good to hear from Bill and his take on livestock.
Yeah, like he was talking about the udders, and the
hand gestures were very clearly geared towards cows.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So anything else happened this weekend?
I went to go see Travis Scott, and that was incredible. He was super good, very good performer. Had no idea where he was.
Oh, yeah.
On his way off the stage, he did say, "Thank you, St. Louis."
Yeah, I did hear about that.
Not where we were. We were in Kansas City, but I mean, 4 hours apart, it could have been worse.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't know how you don't know where you are. Like, honestly, like.
I mean, this weekend he's in St. Louis. Maybe it was just a mix-up. But I feel like if I were gonna pay the money to be there, you gotta at least know.
Yeah.
At the very least, know what city you're in.
Maybe he forgot, honestly.
But once again, I mean, in my mind, Travis Scott really can do no wrong, so I won't hold it against him.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
I was disappointed that Stormy and Kylie didn't show up, though. I was really rooting for him to bring little baby Stormy out on the
Oh, I
roller
thought you were
coaster.
talking about Stormy Daniels.
Oh, that would have been something too. I would have equally been as excited if she was on the roller coaster, potentially with baby Stormy too.
Okay.
They would make an interesting duo, I think.
Yeah, probably. I don't really know that much about the Jenner family, but
Yeah. Okay. Well, that does make sense that you would immediately jump to thinking that Stormy Daniels would show up at the Travis Scott concert.
nice. Well, I don't know how much time we have left to talk, but I burnt my hand on a pan last night, and so that kind of hurts.
How's
Okay,
it
so
doing?
I was like, I had the chicken on the pan, right, and I had the oven mitt on, right. I put it in the oven, and I thought, for some reason, I need 2 hands to guide this in the oven.
Of
And I
course.
just firmly grasped it, and then I was like,
Oh, you were like, oh,
yeah, can't say it on the air, but then I was like,
but
oh,
we
gotta
can
drop
make
that.
assumptions.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that sounds like almost a traumatic weekend.
Yeah, and then plus I got like some cut on the inside of my mouth, so it hurts to talk right now.
Oh, so you not only hurt your hand, but then you couldn't even eat and enjoy the chicken.
We are getting signaled to wrap up, so
Yeah.
that's what we're gonna do.
So thank you guys so much for joining us on Good Morning KU.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next week.
When you shop local in the heart of the city, you support the people that make our community thrive. The money you spend here stays here, in this place we call our home. Lawrence, Kansas, where there's good old-fashioned hometown pride. Eat local, drink local, shop local.
Welcome back. As many of you guys know, February is known as Black History Month, and I have a special guest with me today to talk a little bit about it. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm really good. So, it's obviously Black History Month, and what does that mean to you? Like, what do you think about it?
It means a lot to me. Obviously, prior African Americans that have done very important things here in the United States and around the world is a big influence for me and really all African Americans around the world.
Right. And so there are many people in history that have changed our culture and society. Who do you look up to the most and why?
I look up to Martin Luther King the most because I really agree with his peaceful ways of protesting and not requiring violence for any of his protests and
Right.
Yep.
Right. Well, okay, so you said Martin Luther King Jr. Is there anything that he did in history that really inspired you? Is there a specific speech or protest that he did?
The speech in front of the Washington Monument was probably the most important one to me because of the amount of people that he gathered there, and I think that just shows how important he was and how many people supported his ideas.
Right, and so I know that you play lacrosse and you play baseball,
Yep.
and one important person in history, is Jackie Robinson. What's your opinion on him?
I love Jackie Robinson so much because he just broke a bunch of barriers and didn't care what anyone thought and loved the sport and went for it. So.
Yeah, and you guys probably don't know this, but he is a sports management major. What do you plan on doing with that after you graduate? Just tell me a little bit about yourself, really.
So this is my sophomore year at KU. I am majoring in sports management, and after college I plan on being a sports agent.
Okay.
So I just really want to work with players and sports at the same time.
What sport would you like to work with?
I think I'd like to work for football.
Right.
For sure.
And what team? Is there a specific team you'd like to work for or anything?
No one's gonna like this here, but the Los Angeles Chargers.
Well, why would you want to support them and work for them out of any other team in the NFL?
Well, I was born in Honolulu, Hawaii, so when they played games, it was mainly West Coast, and during the time, LaDainian Tomlinson was on the team, and he was one of my favorite players, so I watched the team a lot as a kid.
So you obviously grew up knowing them as the San Diego Chargers.
Yeah.
How do you feel about them moving to LA?
I mean, I don't think it was the right decision, especially because now they have no fans. But
And too many teams in LA now.
Yeah, and too many teams. But I mean, I personally don't have too much of an opinion because I'm not from San Diego, but I know a lot of people are definitely against it.
I mean, personally, I'm okay with it, but I guess you have an opinion on that. Okay, well, my last question for you is, why do you think you're a good influence, a good person to represent Black History Month?
I think I'm a good person because I played sports such as lacrosse that have been predominantly more, it's not as diverse as other sports, and so even playing that, I was just one of the African Americans playing the sport in the league, and
Right.
so I don't know, I just felt like I broke barriers doing that and not worrying about what anyone thought or said.
Is there anything you want to say before we wrap it up and move on to the news?
The last thing I'd like to say is that you should go for your dreams no matter what it is. Don't let anyone tell you what you can and can't do, and always do your thing.
Well, thank you so much for being here.
Thank
It was
you
a
for having
pleasure
me.
to have you.
Thank you.
Stay tuned for the news.
For students searching for a way to stay active in an outdoorsy way, the City of Lawrence has bike trails running in every direction, and with the new bike share program, we can stay in shape as we tour the sights of our beautiful city. Clinton Lake is only a short 30-minute bike ride away from Daisy Hill and has the most incredible sunset location in all of Lawrence. Walking campus may give you the KU calves, but biking can give you the KU thighs. Bike Lawrence today.
Welcome back. I'm Lauren.
And I'm Darby. This is your Tuesday Good Morning KU news update. Federal officials have learned that 3 5-gallon containers stored in the Grand Canyon Museum collection have contained radioactive uranium ore. Workers and tourists have been unknowingly exposed to the radiation for the past 20 years. A safety, health, and wellness manager said in an email to employees that national park authorities intentionally covered up the potential health risks.
Bernie Sanders announced that he'll be running for president in 2020. Sanders will face heavy opposition from other potential candidates, such as former Vice President Joe Biden, who is rumored to be interested in campaigning for the presidency.
In Florida, police arrested a 6th grade student because of a conflict over the Pledge of Allegiance. The issue began when the student refused to stand for the pledge and the flag because he thought they were racist against African Americans. Lakeland police officials have stated that they chose to arrest the student based off of the disruptions that he caused in the classroom, the threats he made, and resisting police officers.
Great Britain's exit from the European Union happens next month, and the UK politicians still can't agree on how it will work. The measures for the UK to leave the EU passed by a slim margin. Just 52% of the UK was in favor for leaving the EU. If the politicians can't figure it out by then, the UK will face a no deal on the Brexit, which could have the potential for shortages on food and chaos at their borders.
A new apartment complex with retail shopping is coming to 23rd Street in Lawrence. The existing shopping center near Naismith Drive and 23rd Street is scheduled to be demolished, with businesses looking for new homes. The 3 anchor stores are Party America, UNI Computers, and Copy Company.
In sports, the Kansas baseball team split a 4-game series against USC upstate this weekend. After winning their season opener 9-5 on Friday night, they lost a doubleheader on Saturday before pulling out a 5-3 win in the final game of the series Monday afternoon. Junior catcher Jack Grushans was named Big 12 Player of the Week in the first 3 games of the series. Grushans earned 4 hits, 3 home runs, and 6 RBIs. Prior to the road trip, Kansas baseball head coach Rich Price talked about the snowy start to the season during the annual preseason media day.
Yeah, I think without question in the 17 years I've been here, this is the worst month that we've had to get started with. When we used to be able to open the first weekend in February, I think 3 times we traveled to the West Coast without an day outside. But since they moved the start date to the 3rd weekend and Friday 4 or 5 years ago, this is without question the worst weather that we've tried to prepare our team to compete in.
And that will wrap it up for today's news update. Keep watching, and after the break, Adrian will be here with the weather.
Where you go to college makes a statement about you. This place will become a part of you, your identity for life. The University of Kansas, a great place to be you.
Hello and welcome back to Good Morning KU. I'm Adrian Campa here with your weather forecast. Now, taking a look at current weather conditions, we have a temperature right now of 28 degrees. It's pretty cloudy out and fairly windy with an east-northeast wind at 13 miles per hour. Now, thanks to that wind, we have a feels-like temperature of 18 degrees. And there is a 20% chance of precipitation, but it should be pretty light. Now, looking at our evening planner from 6 to 9 p.m., you will see that the chance for snow will be in full effect. We can expect some moderate to heavy snowfall from 7 to 9 p.m. Temperatures will be well below freezing, and winds will be over 15 miles per hour out of the east-northeast, and we could have some wind gusts over 20 miles per hour. Now, looking at our snowfall forecast from this first graphic right here, this little Jayhawk represents Douglas County. This is showing that we are under that winter weather advisory from 3 p.m. until 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. With this, we can expect some light to moderate snowfall and some freezing rain and potentially some freezing drizzle. Now, I'll step off so you can see right here, but this little graphic, the little Jayhawk is representing the expected snowfall accumulation. We are expecting for Lawrence 2 to 4 inches, and roads will become snow-packed and icy since that moderate snowfall is looking very likely this evening into tomorrow morning. Now, with the impacts thanks to this winter storm, we'll have high impacts thanks to the snowfall. And we'll have the low threat for blowing snow just because the winds are not going to be super gusty. And for freezing rain and ice, we're expecting a medium impact, and that's mostly going to come into play Wednesday morning. And our wind chills will also have a medium impact because the winds will be fairly gusty, and that'll make the feels like temperature less than the actual temperature. Now, we've had so much winter weather talk. Let's talk a little bit about spring. So here's our official countdown to spring. We are 29 days away from the spring equinox, so mark your calendars for March 20th, because that is the first official day of spring. Now, taking a look at our extended forecast, obviously today we have that 100% chance of snow. Things should dry out a little bit from Wednesday to Thursday with only slight chances of precipitation. Our next storm system rolls in Saturday with a 90% chance of rain, which could lead to a little light wintry mix Saturday night. But well, that's something we'll have to watch out for. And then Sunday and Monday, we dry it back out with only slight chances of precipitation with chilly temperatures. Now, that's all we have for you today on Good Morning KU. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.